We go build 20 technical schools before I comot as governor. Obaseki, na him talk this one. We go begin arrest parents of out-of-school children from September 12. Governor Godwin Obaseki don talk say him administration go build 20 new technical colleges before he comot as governor. Obaseki talk this one for the launch of Edo Best 2.0. Governor Godwin Obaseki talk say the world don dey change and na human capacity the world dey move to. Na this one come make am important to give Edo children ogbonge education. He come stay here and say the key to change the education sector dey the hands of teachers.
Today, we're making history again by launching what we call our Go Live event on Edo Best 2.0. The world we are today, one thing is clear. Without knowledge, you are not going anywhere. In the case of Nigeria in particular, we depended on oil to drive our economy for the last 40 years. Today, crude oil is not playing the kind of role it played in the world again. So tomorrow's world, which will be defined by the fourth industrial revolution, will be based on human capacity. So if we do not train our children today, if we do not give them quality education today, they will not be able to compete tomorrow in the world. That is why it is very, very important that we do what we're doing by reforming our educational system. What we learned from Edo Best 1.0 is that the key to changing any educational system, the key to any education reform is the teacher. Once you get the governance of the school right, once you have a principal or a head teacher or an executive principal who is competent, he will be able to manage the teachers, and the teachers will be able to impart knowledge on the children. In Edo State, we have moved from saying that our children are going to school. No, we have always gone to school in Edo. What is important for us in Edo State today is what is the quality of education that we are giving our children. What type of human beings do we want to create through our education system? So the quality and relevance of what we teach is what is important to us today. It's not just sufficient for the child to go to school. What is critical is what that child has learned by going to school. In Edo, education has not been an elitist product. And we want to continue that every child in Edo must go to school. Government must create access so that every child, no matter where you are located, no matter where you were born, you have access to school and quality education.
Obaseki when talk say them don't change the name of principals to executive principals means say the executive principals will get full responsibilities of their school. He talk say them go introduce governors corp and principals corp when go ginger sports development for the schools.
How do we govern our schools and our education system? As you have seen, once the governance, once the leadership is right, everything else will fall in place. So our priority and our emphasis will be on how each school is governed. That is why we have changed the nomenclature of our principals. They are not just principals again. They are now executive principals. They now have full responsibility for what goes on in their school. We have trained them that you must withstand political pressure and do the right thing in your school. And if anything goes wrong in your school, we will hold you personally responsible. Education is not cheap. Quality education is expensive. Let us not delude ourselves. And government alone cannot fund every aspect of education. The Constitution says that basic education is free and compulsory. And in Edo State, we will make sure that basic education, which is early childhood of 1 year and 9 years of primary and junior secondary, is free in Edo. That is what the government owes constitutionally. But when it goes beyond JSS 3, parents, communities, businesses must now support our education system. I have promised that technical education is now our priority. We want to move Edo State away from a state where people have too many certificates and no work, to one in which people have work even if they don't have certificates. And to do so, we believe, and evidence has shown, that when you have trained a child and given them the sound foundation, and you've done it well, there's very little they cannot accomplish in life. So, by the age of 15, when you are leaving junior school in Edo State, we want you to have handwork. You must have a vocation. It does not stop you from going to university. I promise that before we leave office, we are going to build 20 technical schools. Every local government must have a technical school. And you know we do not make promises that we do not fulfill. We also promise, and we are almost completing the 20 mini stadia we said we were going to build across the state. The reason for building mini stadia in every local government is because we want to encourage school sports. School sports is now a priority because we must build a complete child. In the case of sports, we are now reintroducing the Principal's Cup commencing the next school calendar year. We are also introducing the Governor's Cup, which I will personally donate.
Governor Obaseki constituency say these reforms they backed by law, and this one go make them hard for new government to change them. A constituency the roles of parents for these education reforms.
The Ministry of Education will create a Parents' Council, which will be made up of representatives of all parents' teachers associations in all our schools in Edo State. Because this will be the avenue to engage parents in a structured manner and sustain our ongoing reforms in education. The government alone cannot train the children. Parents must be involved. We are going to be emphasizing the environment in which our children learn. Our emphasis will be to secure our schools so that the children are safe when they are in school. We are going to be spending a lot of resources in making sure that no child sits on the floor to learn. And by the grace of God, when Dr. Obiawe is completing her term as Commissioner for Education, every child in Edo will have a seat to sit on. Commencing September 12th, when we start the next school calendar year, I have directed the Ministry of Education to set up a system-wide process that will clean up all our schools in Edo State. I have instructed them to demolish all dilapidated buildings in our schools. For those schools that are seriously dilapidated, we will move all the children, all the pupils to other schools and break down those schools and rebuild them. I know a lot of you are worried and concerned because you have expressed it that all what we are doing now, what will happen to all these reforms when we leave office on November 11th, 2024. Don't be worried. Because what we're doing is that we are undertaking what you call a system-wide reform. And everything we're doing will be backed by the law. So I have mandated the commissioner to update all our laws relating to education, particularly our SUBEB law, the PPEB law, and the basic technical vocational education law in Edo State. We believe that all our reforms must be entrenched so that before anybody makes any changes, you have to go back to the people and ask their representatives to make those changes if they can. We want to thank the First Lady's office for the work they have done in implementing not only the gender-based violence law, but also the child's rights law. As you heard from the commissioner, in the organogram of every school, you will have somebody who is responsible for the welfare of the students and the pupils. Those people have been specially trained to observe and watch every child in our school to ensure that no child is abused and watches out for the psychological composure of every child in our schools. We are going to be holding parents responsible. Every parent must now do their part. Every parent must ensure that they give their children at least a meal a day before they leave home for school. And where they cannot, they should let the school authorities know. Parents in secondary school, it is now your responsibility to provide textbooks and support your children's academic and co-curriculum pursuits. If we find any child under the age of 18 being used for manual labor, we will prosecute the parents and any offenders. We thank the Chief Judge of Edo State for providing special courts for us. These special courts will be used to prosecute any person or persons who perpetrate violence against any child or is involved in sexual defilement or physical abuse of any child in our school system. As from September 12th, when school resumes, any school-age child who is found loitering, hawking during school hours will be arrested and their parents will be prosecuted. Our constabularies, POWOV, and other security agencies have been primed and they will give us special forces to go around every local government area. School resumes on Monday, September 12th, and teaching must, I emphasize, teaching must resume on that day.
Obaseki can inaugurate the School Management Board. People won't follow Governor Obaseki Tanda for this program. Now, First Lady of Edo State, Betsy Obaseki, Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly, Honorable Marcus Onobun, Commissioner for Education, Dr. Joan Oviawe, and other commissioners for Inside Edo. Omo Aluke, Ajakaye, TMC TV News. Don't forget your PVC and be your rights. Not tell them give any politicians for election day.